man, it was awesome. You know, just my parents and everything they sacrificed, and then the nurturing they had to do, and the the work that my dad put into to grooming us and the players, me and my brother also. Um, it was a special moment. It was like a full circle moment. So um, just really enjoyed the moment with my family and friends. And after that, I mean, it was a little while before I got to go play, but it was back to work at that point. He kind of paved the way for me. Not only help put Virginia on the map, our home state, but also, you know, I was in the background going, "Hey, I'm here too," while he was going through the process. So um, he kind of put me on the map also. So I have to give him some credit, but at the same time, I did beat. They were always putting us first. So it was, if there was something financially that needed to be done at home, but there was a tournament that we needed to play in. I mean, I don't know if it was the smartest move in the world, but they always, sacrificed, their wants for our needs, and putting us in the right positions and putting us in the right situations to succeed. I remember that call. I remember, not getting any sleep that night, trying to catch an early flight to San Diego. Um, I remember, just as a whole, just being nervous about the opportunity. Obviously it's something you wait for your whole life, but um, actually it happening and you having to perform, and there was definitely some nerves there, but um, the jitters were something I had to shake because we were kind of in the same situation this year's team is, where a lot of young guys playing well in the playoff hunt, and um, when you get to the big leagues, it's business, so you have to perform. And I just remember it being probably one of the better times of my life. Some of the young guys that I came up with are still friends today, which is, you know, you don't know it at the time, but you're making lifelong friends. I think throughout my career, I thought back on coaching moments, some of them, the you know good coaches, great coaches I had. Coming up, and Bob Melvin to this day is still one of my favorite managers that I played for. Just the way that you know, and also some of my older teammates that kind of showed me what being a major leaguer was all about. Some of those relationships were all in an Arizona Diamondback uniform. So, I look back on the player I was molded in, decent coaches. Um, Arizona was the starting point of that, and I'm grateful that I had that opportunity. I have to break that into two separate. I think the best overall pitcher I faced, um, throughout my career is Clayton Kershaw. I don't know why that dude never let up on me, but all throughout my career, I always, had tough at bats against him. But yeah, Clayton Kershaw's got to be my number one. But as far as stuff, I mean, it's a shame that he won't be pitching. They didn't pitch in the playoffs, but Jacob DeGrom, man, it's a special talent. It's probably the most electric pitcher I've faced. Um, if he could stay healthy, man, baseball needs guys like that because he's a generational talent on the mound. I hope he gets healthy and shows everybody that he's that guy. Well, I think the D-backs, they were waiting on some young talent, which finally showed up and played well. I see some of these organizations now, and they're starting to draft, not only high ceiling talent but high floor talent, with guys that they know are going to play at the big league level and can contribute, and also guys that can not only contribute at the big league level, but if they mature properly, they're going to turn into superstars. You know, guys like Corbin Carroll. So I think they had an influx of young talent. Also brought in some veteran pieces. I love the Tommy Pham move, bringing him in, a guy with a little bit of edge to him. Evan Longoria, also a guy who's played in the playoffs. A veteran presence. So they brought in the right pieces, but they also um, have young players who turned out to be good major leaguers. And on the other hand, Texas, I think Texas, they signed two of the more professional players a few years ago with Marcus Simeon and Corey Seager, and I think those guys have changed not only the face of that lineup, but just the face of the clubhouse, the face of the organization. I think the way those guys go about their business is, the way you want to see it as a front office. And then they have pitching. I mean, pitching wins ball games. I love the addition of Jordan Montgomery, just a solid, solid pitcher who, when he gets high, he can pitch like he has lately. And then the addition of Scherzer, to kind of anchor the rotation. I think they did a good job at the All-Star or at the trade deadline, and they already had the pieces in place to go around Seager and Simeon. Even when I was playing there, a long time ago, probably 10 to 12 years ago, when I was playing there, you always heard the buzz about, wow, well, back in 2001, we loved that team. So they've been kind of hanging on to that 2001 World Series team. I think they needed a new team, a new team to rally behind. And I think they've been hungry for this run for, would you say 22 years. So I think the fans are hungry. It's going to mean a lot to them to have World Series here in town. They've been waiting for it for a long time. So I'm hoping that people show up and give that home field advantage. I think these guys are just young enough and have, enough edge about them that, it could work in their favor. They've been the underdogs in every series of this playoffs too. And they've proven the doubters wrong, I guess. So I don't see this being any different. I think, if it does go the other way to Texas, which everybody thinks it will, it's because Texas was a little more of a veteran team and they outperformed them. But I think that's definitely an advantage to be the underdog. The guy who's come in, had the success he's had, performed at, in the biggest spots you could possibly be in baseball, last night's performance and throughout the playoffs. When you look at it on paper, he looks like the perfect face of your franchise. And I throughout people in baseball that come into contact with him, I personally haven't, but you hear great things. You hear, he prepares well. He sleeps, eats, and breathes baseball. He's a baseball guy. So I think what we're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg. I think he's going to be, I think he should be in Arizona for a long time, and I think he's going to be a pretty special player. I played in the same division just a few years ago. You could see the talent there. I think for some people, it just takes longer to make those adjustments. And the talent was 100% always there. I remember games he had against us when I was in Anaheim that I was like, this guy's special, but to put it all together is a little bit tougher. And I think it's coming together for him, whether it's, at 22 years old or at, 31, it doesn't matter. As long as you put it together at some point. And what he did this past series is, obviously it's a record, but, kind of anchoring that team and getting them to the World Series was fun to watch. Well, it's been a while since the Rangers have been in the World Series, so I think the crowd will be excited. I think there'll be some nerves on the Arizona side, and with the veteran presence over there in that Texas Rangers clubhouse, I think they take Game 1. I think the Texas Rangers win the World Series on the backs of their pitching. I think that their pitching's been pretty good throughout the playoffs, and I think the series ends 4-2. I just love watching Corey Seager. I think he ends up being the guy. He went through a quick cold spell there last series, but I think his bat starts to heat up, and he's probably the reason they win it all. I'm waiting for Christian Walker to get hot. I've seen him. He's a great hitter. I think he's gonna probably break out this series. Obviously Corbin Carroll. Look for Gurriel to be kind of a staple in their lineup. I think he's going to hit. He obviously got Simeon Garcia. I don't know if he can keep doing what he did last series, but I think he's a big piece of it. Um, and my guy at first base, why am I drawing blank? Lowe. I love Lowe. He's gonna be cool as a cucumber in that hostile atmosphere, and I think he's gonna have a big series. I think everybody throughout baseball has been waiting on this one, but we're waiting on the Seattle Mariners to turn the corner. I know they made the postseason last year, just barely missed this year. Um, it was a younger roster a couple of years ago. They're starting to a few of them starting to become veterans. They added a couple younger pieces this year that came up and had a little bit of an impact. So um, I'm I'm going with the Mariners, man. I feel like I've obviously been in that clubhouse last year. I was a part of the team for a little bit, but they have so much young talent there and great pitching. I think I look for them to turn the corner. Honestly, a few like the base thing. I think as a player, it's something they probably got used to, probably by the end of spring training or early in the season. So I don't think that was as big of a change. The pitch clock, I think, had a definite effect on the game. Obviously, the games were faster. Um, the pickoff rule, we saw stolen bases go up, which is more exciting for fans. We saw a guy steal 70 bases. So, if you're a fan of that, I think it had the right effect on the game. So, through a year, I think, the skeptics are kind of leaning towards it's good for the game. So, hey, it's the new era of baseball. So, um, you know, enjoy it. I think it should be revisited. Um, my opinion, I don't know how much it holds, but from what I'm seeing, you look at the Dodgers and the Braves, who are two of the better teams in baseball all year long. Um, they lost their first series, and I think part of that is because of the bye, having a bye and not playing for, I think it was 5 days or so. Um, Baseball is one of those sports when you miss 5 days, no matter how hard you try with scrimmages and facing live pitching, you're going to come out flat. And I don't know that the actual fix is going to help anything. You don't want to take away a playoff team, and adding one would kind of be crazy. Now almost everybody makes the playoffs. So I don't know what the fix is, but I think it's bad for baseball for the best team to look the way that the best teams to look the way that the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Orioles looked, and they really came out flat. And in a 5-game series, it's hard to rebound from it. I'm not real sure why they're calling it a sweeper. We've been calling it a slider for forever. I don't know why the name changed, but it's the sweeper now, and it's the same as a slider. It looks like a fastball for a long time. It's thrown at a higher velocity than a curveball, and the longer it looks like a fastball and then breaks, the better off the pitch is. I mean, it fools hitters, but I still call it a slider, but everybody calls it the sweeper. Well, I was kind of an old guy at the time, when everything kind of changed over, and everybody started talking about launch angle and exit velocity. I was kind of stuck in my old ways, so I didn't really make an adjustment to my training. Um, but if that's what's being judged, the players have to adjust. As far as analytics, I think they're great for the game. Um, in moderation, I think you can't lean too hard on analytics. I mean, you can lean hard on analytics. Great ball clubs have done it. I just think we can't lose sight of the actual game and what guys are doing on the field. We can't lean completely on analytics, but I think the best teams that are doing it right now are finding a way to mesh both sides of the coin. They're using analytics to gain information and still, using the purity of baseball, the physical acts of baseball, and you know the eye test. You still have to pass the eye test, but analytics will tell you a lot. And I think the mesh of the two makes us great. I mean, You know, that's what makes great players.